Myself, as the head of the SAFA administration, began this work, and the President will report on the work that he has managed to complete over this period. But there was an enormous amount of preparatory work that had to be done. And at the same time, I was initially who started working with the President on this. It became very clear to me as CEO that from an administrative point of view, it would be impossible for me to be both the CEO of AFCON and the CEO of SAFA, because the work of SAFA is enormous, extensive, and critically important. AFCON has its own issues, its own timelines, its own deadlines. And as the CEO of SAFA, then I was fully part and in agreement with the process that we needed to appoint a separate CEO to drive the administration, of AFCON. And as you know, because we've reported on this, the work of SAFA is focusing in two fundamental areas strategically. The one is creating sustained international success and putting in place all of the 7 steps that are necessary to do that. And that's our medium to long-term strategic planning. We started that with a technical symposium. The President and I and our staff have been working very hard on this process. There's a whole lot of work that will be continuing strategically in May around that. And by August, September, we'll be reporting back to you on the comprehensive strategies that we have put in place to create sustained international success in the medium to long term for Bafana Bafana and our other national teams. But at the same time, the President gave me a very clear directive that we cannot only focus on the medium to long term, but that we need to be focusing on the short-term issues around SAFA's strategic goals that we need to have in place within the next 18 months. And those, of course, include how our structures are fully involved in the hosting of AFCON 2013, on the success of Bafana Bafana at AFCON and qualifying for the World Cup, of ensuring that Banyana have all that they need in place for the Olympic qualifiers, of ensuring that we roll out our IT and administration structures right down to regional and LFA levels, and putting in place the right commercial and administrative foundation that will ensure SAFA is successful for the immediate and the long term. And those are tasks that I've been tasked to drive administratively. The President is guiding me on that, obviously, as the political head of the organization. And so the work of SAFA must and is continuing. And so I'm delighted, and I want to give and record my appreciation to the work that my fellow CEO, Mr. Mbebe, has been doing since he's come on board, has relieved an enormous amount of pressure from me administratively, and is ensuring that as the organizing association, we have in place the right administrative structure to be able to deliver on a very successful AFCON 2013 and CHAN 2014. I outlined to you in this very brief introduction the work that the President was tasked by the NEC to complete. And I'm going to ask the President now if he could just give a report on that work that he has accomplished leading up to where we are today. So, Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO, Program Director, my colleagues, CEO of 2013, members of the media. Let me take this opportunity to thank you and to welcome you to this meeting or press brief. I must say my work has been done well, CEO. I'm only left with merely emphasizing the fact that this task we started early October has now been completed. When I reflect back, the very first day we had a press brief when the CEO of 2013 came in, we had a